Hi once again, all you weather geeks. It's Tuesday evening, and it is the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. Hopefully you got a chance to check out my winter forecast last evening. In case you missed it, in case you didn't see the links to it on social media, head over to my YouTube channel, check out my Facebook page, scroll through Twitter. We even talked about it a little bit on Instagram, but the winter forecast is out there for anyone who wants a lot of detail on their weather forecasts and their winter forecasts. And also there's a short version. It's kind of the 3-minute newscast version. You can watch that. And also there's a blog version at ericwfmj.com. That's my weather blog. If you're a little bit more of a reader or just want even more detail and analysis, you can check out that winter forecast at any of those venues. And the videos are also on wfmj.com/weather. Just a quick recap of what we did go out with as far as the bottom line for the upcoming winter. We are expecting it to be another warmer than average season. We think there's about an 80% chance that it's a warmer than average season overall, and only about a 10% chance that it's a colder than average season, December through February. The snow department, a little bit of a tougher forecast, of course, because one doozy of a storm in the middle of a snow-free stretch can really, skew the numbers a little bit. But we think the odds most favor a below-average season in the snow department. The odds of a snowier than average season, 1 in 5, maybe a little bit higher than that. And last winter, of course, was very snow-free for the second consecutive year. We had very paltry amounts of snow. At the Youngstown Warren Airport last winter, about 37 inches worth of snow. We averaged about 67 in Vienna at the airport. Of course, depending on where you are across our viewing area, your usual snow amounts are going to vary quite a bit. But everyone was below average in Ohio and western Pennsylvania last year. And this year, I don't think, if you're a snow lover, I don't think this year is going to be anything that you're going to be, telling your friends and grandkids about in 20 or 30 years or anything like that. We might see more snow than the last couple of winters, but will we get to average or above? Odds do not favor that. But it was a different story, of course, 5 years ago on today's date. We started the day in the teens. We had 4.1 inches of snow at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport on today's date in 2019. We've had no measurable snow across our area so far this season, and I wouldn't expect any until perhaps the end of next week. We'll talk about the longer range coming up at the tail end of the video. In the meantime, clouds did break for sunshine today, right on schedule. We started the day with that stratocumulus deck, but then the clouds thinned out, and it actually was a good-looking afternoon. Temperatures struggled. We only made it to 49 today, officially, but we did have that full sunshine. I was talking with Andrew in the office today. It's pretty impressive to only see 49 with full afternoon sun, but it's November, the 12th? Sun's about as strong now as it is in late January. In other words, the sun's pretty weak. It's pretty low in the sky. So even if you don't have too many clouds around, sometimes the sun does not warm us up all that much on a day like today. We have a clear sky overhead this evening, not only locally, but in most of the regions. So we'll start tomorrow on a cold note. This will be one of the colder mornings of the season so far across our area. In Mahoning County, everyone's probably going to see middle and upper 20s. I wouldn't be surprised if a few colder sheltered valleys saw something like 25 or 26 tomorrow morning. Same idea up in Trumbull County. Over into Mercer County, 27, 28 degrees is going to be commonplace as Wednesday gets underway. And down in Columbiana County, we should also drop a few degrees below freezing for the start of the day on Wednesday. Some high clouds will start to filter in the morning. They'll thicken a little bit as we go into the afternoon, but these clouds will not produce any rain, it looks like, until Thursday morning. I think Thursday will bear a lot of similarities to Sunday. A couple of days ago, that was a rainy day. Thursday is going to be similar. It's going to be even colder. Sunday was no picnic with temperatures struggling up into the lower 50s, but I think we'll be hard pressed to see 44 or 45 Thursday afternoon. Even though a warm front is heading our way, it doesn't exactly have a strong push of warm air with it. So yeah, this is a nasty raw kind of a day coming up on Thursday. Now, this low is going to kind of fade away, and actually a new low pressure system will pop up along the eastern seaboard, bringing a squally and rainy afternoon, or morning and afternoon, I should say, to a lot of the beaches from the Jersey Shore right down through Virginia Beach. There'll be a lingering trough of low pressure, though, to the north and west of that new low pressure center that will keep things maybe a little unsettled for Thursday night and Friday. I think overall this is just kind of a cloudy period, but could we see a little bit of light rain or drizzle? Sure. It may be just kind of another gloomy day coming up on our Friday. The good news for the upcoming weekend, we'll get the rain out of the way for the weekend. Rainfall totals may be similar to what we had on Sunday, in that I think we'll average probably about a half an inch average. Some places a little bit more, some places a little bit less, but about a half an inch or so will be pretty commonplace. Now, as we start talking about the longer range, over the next week or so, we're going to be consistently above the average, with the exception, I should say, of that rainy and chilly day coming up on Thursday. By the end of next week, though, at the end of this 10-day period, so right around the 21st, 22nd, you'll notice a cool down coming. Now, by the 22nd day of November, our average high is 47 degrees. It sounds pretty chilly, but that's par for the course by November 22nd. But I do think there'll be a pattern change coming up at the end of next week, and probably that new pattern will try to carry us into Thanksgiving week as well. Here's one model depiction going into next week, and what we have going on here is the jet stream taking a pretty big dip, pretty amplified looking upper level flow depicted on the modeling by the middle of next week. Big ridge poking up out here, downstream of that, big trough digging into the Great Lakes and into the the Ohio Valley, I should say, and into the Northeast. Now, with this kind of a weather map next Thursday into next Friday, there's going to be snowflakes around the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and parts of the Northeast. I wouldn't be surprised if we had our first legit snowflakes of the season around eastern Ohio and western PA towards the tail end of next week. Is it going to stick? Is it going to accumulate? Of course, it's too early to say. There may be some lake effect to contend with. We're going to have a gusty wind. Temperatures may be pretty chilly. And this pattern, will try to stick around for a little while. I think that last week or so of November is trending colder on the modeling. So I think the pattern for maybe the last 10 days of November will be distinctly more unsettled and chillier compared to the average than the first few weeks of the month. So we'll have a lot more to say on the longer range, including perhaps one more tropical system to impact the southeastern U.S. towards the end of next week. We'll talk about all that on future editions of Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for watching on this Tuesday evening. Have a great rest of your night. Let's meet again on Wednesday.